Hey guys, Coach Katie here from Orange Theory Carmel. I'm just popping on to talk to you about two of the common injuries we see that can be caused by poor running form and mechanics, and just give you some suggestions on what to do if you have this common pain. Obviously, I'm not a doctor or physical therapist, so you want to check that out with a doctor or physical therapist if you're experiencing these. But Achilles tendonitis is one, and that's where you feel pain in your heel or in your Achilles itself. And some causes is increased training, excessive running on inclines and hills, and then also a lot of speed work. And so one of the things that you're going to notice is that your calves are super tight. So calf tightness is a big part in leading to Achilles tendonitis because it forces your tendon to work a little harder since your muscles are already tight. So I like to use a hand roller to roll my calves out when my calves are really tight. I've experienced both of these injuries I'm talking about. So these are just kind of some things that I've found that help, and also that I've been instructed that will help as well. So rolling those calves out and also strengthening your calves are some big things to focus on when it comes to Achilles tendonitis. And plantar fasciitis is another common injury that we see. Plantar fasciitis, you've probably heard talked about, whether it's yourself that experienced it or a friend of yours has probably experienced this injury. So what is that pain? It's pain in the bottom of your foot. It really hurts to walk and it really hurts to run. Typically, it can get worse when you're done working out or early in the morning, those first couple steps out of bed, excruciating pain in the base of your foot. Now, what should you do? The best thing to do is take some time off. I know we like to push through things very often, myself included. I'm prone to do this. So taking time off is the best way to heal plantar fasciitis. It allows that fascia to relax, get back into its natural state instead of being on high alert and really tight all the time. Stretching it out is another way to help relieve that tension on the bottom of your foot. So taking a ball and just rolling your foot out on that ball is going to help loosen up that fascia. And then also icing that foot as well. So you can take a plastic water bottle, fill it with water, roll it out there. One other thing that I found really helps relieves the tension on the base of your foot are these babies right here. So these are called yoga toes. They're about 25 bucks on Amazon, but you put them right between your toes like if you were to go get a pedicure, and you just keep them there for 15-20 minutes. You can do that once a day, and over the course of, say, like 2 or 3 days even, you'll notice that the bottom of your foot is in a more relaxed state. So those are just a couple things that from myself, from experience, that I would love to just hand off to you. So take it as you will. Get those things checked out if you are experiencing plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendonitis. We don't want any further injuries when it comes to overtraining, overuse, and just pushing through. These are not the type of things that we want to push through, because they can lead to further injury, and not just those places, but other places as well, for overcompensating for the injuries. So if you got any questions, let me know. Let your coaches know at your studio. But I hope you guys learned something today and can take this information and run with it. Have a good day, guys.
Hey, it's Coach Kelly from Orange Theory Fishers, guys, and I'm here to talk to you about shin splints. This is something I see all the time, especially if you've picked up running or you've increased your mileage pretty significantly. A common thing I see is shin splints. That is pain right here on the front of your shin. Usually happens, again, from picking up running and from this motion of pulling that toe up. So if you're running on the treadmill and you're leaning back a little bit too far, you're striking with your heel, holding onto the treadmill. If you're power walking, those types of things can cause that motion, which will aggravate that shin. So focusing on your form is probably the most effective thing you can do if you're having shin splints. The other thing is looking at your shoes. A lot of times it can be caused by improper footwear. So shoes that are too old or are the wrong type of shoes for how you run. So you can always go get your shoes fit. If your shoes are more than 6 months old, they're old. So please go get new shoes that will help you feel better. There's a couple things to do. You can't really stretch out the shin, unfortunately, but there are a couple things you can do to help it feel better. You can stretch out your calf. So things like calf stretches will help back here, will help loosen that up. You can also, there's 2 pieces of equipment I have at home that can help a lot with shin splints. If you have a massage gun, this is the best thing you can ever purchase. You can massage the back of your calf to loosen it up. You can also, on a low setting, massage right here down the front of your shin, and that will help loosen that up a ton. The other thing you can do is, if you have a roller at home, we can roll right underneath And same thing going up, back and forth, loosening up that calf and helping with that shin splint. So watching your running form, make sure we're checking with your coach, getting good running form, leaning forward and trying to hit midfoot, stretching out those calves and getting new shoes. Those are your best ways to deal with shin splints. All right, so we're gonna talk about low back pain, something else that I see all the time, usually from people that are picking up running for the first time or have taken a hiatus and come back. Low back pain is something very common that we see, usually caused by a muscular imbalance. So weaker on the core muscles can help put pressure on that low back, which can cause low back pain. Also, running form where you're leaning too far back, especially away from that console. Something we see a lot of time with treadmill running because you have that large console is you tend to lean back from it, which can put your back in a compromising position. Leaning back from that console forces your foot to come forward, which will give you more of a heel strike for causing that overstriding, which again will put pressure on your low back. So watching your running form, make sure you're leaning forward, will help with that low back pain. Footwear as well, if your shoes are more than 6 months old or they're the wrong shoes for your running form, that can put you in a compromising position, aggravating low back pain. But like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, muscular imbalance is huge on there. So strengthening through the core and through the hips will help support your low back and prevent low back pain. So my two favorite moves if you're having low back pain to help support that core are a plank and a hip bridge. So on that plank, which I know we all love these, getting into your plank position, hips down and holding maybe 15, 20 seconds at a time until you can work up to a little bit longer will help with that core. The other one is that hip bridge, and starting with 10 to 15 unweighted hip bridges. Heels coming up to the glutes, press through the heels and squeeze. You'll be doing these hip bridges in 3 rounds of about 10 to 15 unweighted hip bridges to help strengthen that pelvis, strengthen your hips, strengthen your core, which hopefully will prevent your low back pain.
All right, Coach Katie here to wrap things up. Coach Kelly referenced how often you should be switching your shoes out. She mentioned if it's been 6 months, we're probably overdue for a new pair. Now, if you are someone who is strictly running outside, the typical rule of thumb is every 300 to 500 miles, swapping that shoe out. How does that equate in studio? Basically, every 3 to 5 months, we should be reassessing how our shoes feel. That wear and tear of not only your time on the treadmill, but the push off on the rower and step ups, weight bearing exercises on the weight floor, it adds up over time. And I don't want you to look at that as a waste of money, reinvesting in those shoes over and over again. It's an investment in longevity and sustainability in your fitness. Now, not every shoe is created equal either, so I would encourage you, first and foremost, to go to the professionals. I would go to Athletic Annex or Jackrabbit, somewhere that does gait analysis, and have them watch you run. If you're somebody who supinates, you might need some arch support added to whatever shoe you get. If you're somebody that has a little bit more neutral gait, you might need a more neutral shoe. So the professionals will be able to put you the right direction as far as picking out a shoe, not just because it's a cool color or a neat design, but because it actually suits you and your needs. Again, not all shoes are created equal. I'm gonna show you a couple, and don't make fun, these are all my shoes. This is a Noble, this is a lifting shoe. It's got a very dense sole, it's hard, it's rock solid. This is for lifting only. If you are somebody that's wearing a Noble, that's a lifting shoe, and or something like a Nike Metcon, if you're working out in those and running in those right now, it's an injury waiting to happen, and I would encourage you to make sure that you're going to a running shoe. Now you've got cross trainers. And these are good in the short term, but if you're somebody that's gonna pick up mileage or that wants to be a runner outdoors or even longer distances on the treadmill, this isn't gonna be great for the long term, but it can be good for cross training. And that leads me to 2 different styles of support. Very neutral, this is an Ultra Solstice, and then a little bit more support, this is the Launch Brooks. Making sure that you've got a shoe that suits you best, and again, I would go to the professionals to have them assist you in a gait analysis when you go to select your shoes. Now, I want you to remember too that your body pain is your body's check engine light. Don't push through that pain. Ask yourself 3 questions. 1, do I need new shoes? 2, am I taking stretching seriously? Am I taking recovery seriously enough when I go home in between my workouts? And 3, should I seek professional help? Do I need to go see a PT? Do I need to go get some myofascial tissue work done? Making sure that you answer all of those questions when you're running into injury prevention techniques is going to be helpful in sustainability and avoiding all of those injuries that Katie and Kelly discussed. As always, speak with your coaches in studio. We are here to help you get through the tough stuff.